So it is.
Okay.
So
Oh my
here's
God!
the
No, no,
thing.
no! Don't criticize when it's so freaking obvious. And what if he put a Nazi? He put a swastika on his forehead. You guys would be like, no, 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 because it's not what it appears. It's not what it appears.
Calm down, Cenk. Calm down.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't interrupt you.
Andrea, go ahead.
By the way, it's great to have the old Cenk back.
Just got absolutely obliterated in this debate. From exposing his double standards on political violence to calling out his media lies and even destroying his weak arguments on masculinity and Christianity, Andrew Wilson held nothing back. This was one of the most brutal debates we've seen in a long time, and by the end of it, Cenk was left scrambling, stuttering, and completely exposed. If you want to see how the left's hypocrisy crumbles under real scrutiny, buckle up. This is going to be one wild ride.
First problem is these were not violent criminals who were released. These were political prisoners who were released. What happened is there was no fair application of the law whatsoever. These guys were being tried in D.C. There was a political witch hunt. We have more evidence every single day which provides for that. And why these guys are busy now complaining and showing us, oh, down here on the border, we have a mom crying because she might be separated from her kid. Nobody's commenting on the fact that we have a ton of families that just got reunited. And on behalf of all of the Wilsons of the world, welcome home, January 6ers. It's guys like this that wanted to put you away in a hole, in a dark hole, absent due process, and throw away the key. These were not violent criminals.
Why would you categorize it as non-violent?
Well, I didn't categorize it as non-violent. I said these are not violent criminals, which is how it's being
But if you're
framed.
perpetrating violence against police officers, it is, isn't it?
What? How many? A few? A few? A couple? This guy on May 30th of 2020, the White House was under siege. It was attacked. Over 100 Secret Service agents injured. We had they were burning down stations. This guy said, "Oh, well, Trump had to go hide out in his bunker." Can you imagine if the roles were reversed and Donald Trump came out and was like, oh, AOC had to go hide. Oh, these politicians had to go hide. He doesn't care about political violence. The left doesn't care about political violence at all. They'll use it when it's expedient for them. They always do.
For the people who went to the Capitol, it's an obvious crime to break into the Capitol. And why were they doing that? They were trying to overturn the results of the election. So you could blah, blah, blah on all your talking points, but it's absurdity. Obviously, they were trying to hurt our democracy. They were trying to steal that election. And were some of them violent? Were all of them violent? No. Were some of them violent? Obviously. We have eyes and ears. So you can do all the propaganda you want, but we just watch the tape of them trying to beat the crap out of the cops.
The debate's most explosive topic was the comparison between the January 6th Capitol riot and the Black Lives Matter BLM protests of 2020. Andrew Wilson repeatedly accused the left, particularly figures like Uygur, of double standards in condemning political violence. He argued that January 6th defendants were unfairly demonized and prosecuted as political prisoners, while BLM rioters who engaged in widespread looting, arson, and attacks on law enforcement were treated with sympathy and lean eye. In Wilson's view, the Democrats and the leftist media intentionally applied the law unequally, using it as a tool to punish their ideological opponents while excusing their allies. Cenk Uygur, on the other hand, firmly rejected this comparison, stating that January 6th was a direct attack on democracy, whereas BLM protests, despite isolated violence, were rooted in righteous anger against racial injustice. He basted Wilson's attempts to downplay the Capitol riot, pointing out that many rioters were caught on tape attacking police officers, breaking into government buildings, and actively trying to overturn the results of a legitimate election. Uygur insisted that Wilson and other conservatives were engaging in revisionist history, trying to portray insurrectionists as peaceful patriots, while ignoring the documented violence and intent behind their action.
I thought you guys cared about cops. I care about crime. I'm against crime. And, you know, and we take heat sometimes from the left because they think that crime is a right-wing narrative and doesn't actually exist. Well, the voters just showed you it does exist, and they're pissed about it. But they're also pissed about it when you go beat up cops for Trump. But if you're going to try to do revisionist history, that these were some patriots who showed up for a picnic, but oh golly gee, there was a Capitol, so they started to bust in and beat the living crap out of the cops. And oh, he lost the election, but oh no, it was stolen. So they go and try to do a coup attempt. I hate it. I think it's a terrible precedent. And I think every time you guys defend it, you sound absurd, and it sounds like overwhelming, ridiculous propaganda.
Andrew?
Yeah. What it's about is a fair application of law. And there has not been fair application of law here. Cenk himself cannot even do fair application of law. At the same time, he says, oh, they're trying to coup and overthrow the democracy. It's exactly what happened. May 30th, when they were attacking the White House, they were attacking Secret Service agents. They wanted to get in there, and all he could do was whine about how Trump had to get sent to a bunker. Where was his outrage about the coup d'etat? Where was he when Black Lives Matter was burning down cities?
There was no coup on May 30th. It was a protest.
He was saying instead, Cenk, I didn't interrupt you once. Do you think he calmed down for me? So anyway, what's going on, very simply, is that he has the revisionist history, while at the same time, the Democrats are saying
Wilson and also clashed over the role of media in shaping public perception, with Wilson directly accusing leftist outlets like the Young Turks tide of pushing propaganda and manipulating the truth. According to Wilson, progressive media figures like Uygur cherry-pick stories and frame narratives in a way that excuses left-wing excesses while demonizing conservative voices. He claimed that Uygur and his ilk were complicit in spreading misinformation, particularly regarding the Russia-Trump collusion hoax, the BLM riots, and the Hunter Biden laptop scandal. Wilson painted the mainstream media as a politically motivated machine working to suppress dissenting voices and advance leftist ideology under the guise of journalistic integrity.
You got to stay home and stay masked up. They're telling other people, go outside, burn down cities, make Chaz chop, a nice free independent zone. I don't know how you could say that that's anything other than an insurrection, to say that this is now no longer part of the United States government, have your own armed militia there, the entire 9 yards. May 30th, they attack. And this guy says nothing. Suddenly, J6, though, oh my God, they're violent extremists. They're going to overthrow democracy. It's all nonsense. It's not fairly applied. He's never fairly applied it. The laws has never been fairly applied to the J6ers. They were tried in D.C., not in front of impartial juries. And here's how our law works. Our law works like this. 1,000 walk free, so one guilty person doesn't spend a day in prison. That is the precedent for our law. That's why they got pardoned, and it's exactly why they should have.
Perhaps the most visceral moment of the debate came when Wilson described progressive Christianity as satanic and subversive, particularly in relation to LGBTQ advocacy and female religious leadership. Wilson argued that leftists had infiltrated and corrupted religious institutions, pushing radical social agendas that contradict biblical teachings and centuries of Christian doctrine. He specifically denounced the presence of a female bishop at a major political event, calling it an example of moral inversion, an ideological subversion. Wilson's message was clear: progressivism and Christianity are fundamentally incompatible, and any attempt to merge the two results in a distortion of faith, rather than an evolution of it. Response was a mix of mockery and outrage, branding Wilson's views as outdated, regressive, and outright lunatic. He accused Wilson of weaponizing religion to justify discrimination, stating that the idea of women or LGBTQ individuals in leadership roles being satanic is absurd and offensive to modern sensibilities, or framed Wilson's worldview as one of fear and exclusion, designed to gatekeep Christianity and prevent social progress. He argued that America is evolving, and those who refuse to adapt will find themselves on the wrong side of history.
Reject categorically what you said, just lied to the audience. You called Trump bunker boy, right? He was going down to the bunker during the protest to inspect it. Ha, 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 right? You didn't care at all.
Yeah.
You weren't denouncing political violence. You weren't denouncing these people getting beat up. You didn't care when the violence is on your side like a typical Democrat. You don't care at all, Cenk. You don't care. And you've never cared. The only reason you care now is because you want to kiss.
And I condemn it every time people do violence.
I call it snake.
Literally
okay,
every
I'll say
time.
snake. But the thing is, Snake, is that you're just trying to kiss the right wing's ass now to get back in with them because the left has categorically rejected you, and that's what's actually happening.
Cenk, is that what's happening?
All right, you amuse me. Yeah, this guy amuses me. So, like, you think calling me Snake is going to somehow win you the debate? Good luck with that childish.
I already won the debate.
Way of going. Oh, you did because you said it. Okay, that, by the way, another great debating tactic. Just saying you won. And second of all, we have 27 million. How many times do I have to say this? 27 million subscribers, 30 billion lifetime views. You're a pimple on my ass. I literally don't even know who you are. So you come in here talking about audience? And, oh, you're a snake. Okay, you're a turtle. You're a scorpion.
Audience.
Whatever. Do I win now?
I didn't say anything about audience. What are you talking about? Are you a lunatic?
You did. You just said, oh, yeah, the left wing's audience has got a problem with it. I know the left wing better than he does. Oh, yeah,
you're trying to cozy up with right-wingers. What were you doing at TPUSA, Cenk? Trying to cozy in with right-wingers like Charlie Kirk, kissing their ass. You're literally kissing up to them because you want in good, because the left is rejecting center-left policies now. That's what's happening.
Hey, brother,
they either want to go far left or far right.
As the debate neared its conclusion, Piers Morgan introduced a new topic, the rise of a masculine-driven political movement, often called the bro-airy, which includes figures like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and RFK Jr. Wilson fully embrace this notion, arguing that young men are increasingly reject leftist ideology in favor of traditional masculinity and common sense politics. He painted the left as anti-masculine and socially inept, pushing an agenda that alienates men and makes them easy recruits for the right. According to Wilson, men are rallying around figures who represent strength, leadership, and rebellion against the establishment, rather than the soft, politically correct culture promoted by progressives. You are, however, scoffed at this idea, arguing that the so-called bro-archy is nothing more than a branding strategy for toxic masculinity and regressive values. He accused Wilson and his ideological allies of romanticizing a past that no longer exists, using masculinity as a shield for authoritarian tendencies and social control, where insisted that true strength comes from progress, inclusivity, and the ability to evolve with the times, rather than clinging to archaic gender norms and outdated power structures. What do you think of today's video? Let us know in the comments. Thank you.